Moms Club podcast. I'm Jen.
I'm Karlee. We're the new mom friends you didn't know you needed. Happy Mom Day, Jen.
Happy Mom Day.
It's not a pretty day outside. I always start every episode saying it's a beautiful day, but it's
really
today.
Disgusting. Actually, it's kind of nice though. It's cooled off.
I know. Well, it's still kind of like that awkward, gross mugginess.
I'll take it though. Like,
yeah, it's not hot.
Pregnancy, sweating, like postpartum hormone sweating, pregnancies. It's not fun.
The sweating doesn't end.
I'm not enjoying it at all.
This morning I had a little bit of an incident. I actually haven't told you this yet. I decided to do a little self-care. I showered. I didn't wash my hair. I draw the line at washing my hair.
Okay.
But I did some skincare. I put makeup on. I even put mascara on. Mm-hmm. And then I slicked my hair back. I put on like a nice clean white shirt. And I was like, okay, look good, feel good. Like I don't look like a dirty sock. And then I decided that this morning was a great idea to swap over the car seat. So we're going away this weekend, and my husband has a convertible car seat in his car, and I have the bucket seat in mine. And I thought for the road trip, it'd be more comfortable if he was in the convertible car seat. So I decided, while I have my child screaming at me, that now is the time to change and put in the convertible car seat into my car. Our garage is so narrow, so you can only get in the car from one side. Anyways, I was dripping sweat. I actually have a video of it that I'll post after this episode airs.
It's actually a lot of work changing out car seats.
Oh, God. And then I couldn't even get it, and then I had a meltdown. My husband was working from home today, which he never does, and I always say I will leave him alone, and then I had a meltdown, and I needed help, and I didn't get the car seat swapped over. Couldn't figure it out.
I mean, good try.
I know.
I find it's very good to watch the video of an install before you go and do it, because everyone is slightly different. Like,
we had a car seat tech show us how to install it into his car, and it was easy. She even showed me like a little trick you can do by like putting the like pulley thing through the cup holder to get better leverage.
Yeah.
But I just like couldn't pull it. And then here I am and Henry's screaming, and I'm just like, ah, and I'm like literally dripping in sweat.
Everything is 10 times more stressful when the baby's crying though and screaming, and then it's like everything's amped up. So
I was amped up.
That's unfortunate.
So my husband came down while working, and I was standing in front of the aircon just sobbing, holding Henry. It's like, I'm having a moment. Yeah, so don't do car seats all alone.
So are you on shirt number 3 today?
Yeah. No, I sweat into that one, then I just let it dry, and then
so you kept wearing it, and now you're switched. Okay.
But then I got really sweaty putting him down for his nap, so then I had to change. But I'm gonna still sweat through this.
I know. I actually noticed in one episode you could like see sweat on my face. I was like, that's awful. I just sweat so much. So
we'll do a little courtesy wipe. Get the mustache off. But yeah, that's life. Anything new you want to add, Jen?
No, we've just been busy going to a lot of baby birthday parties, and I mean, my husband would say it's a con because he's an introvert, and he's like, there's too many parties, but like, it's so much fun. Celebrating all the babies' birthdays and getting together, and like,
it's really fun.
Seeing the babies together is one of the cutest things. Like, it just makes my heart so happy when you get to go and like see them all, how they grow and developed in together, and just like playing, and like there's little water tablets, so many, and they all splash and like share toys, and it's so cute.
And when most of them met, they were just like little potatoes.
Well, they didn't do anything. We just plopped them down, and they all just laid there, or they were in their car seats. Like, they literally
slept.
Probably didn't even look at each other.
They did tummy time together sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That helps. Tummy time with another group of babies is very beneficial, because they actually wanted to do tummy time and lift their head up to look at the other babies.
They hate it less,
so for sure.
But yeah, the birthday parties have been fun. Yeah. I had to miss the one this last weekend, but I'll be there at the next one. Because there's like literally 10.
There's a lot. and I missed some, and you missed some. And,
I don't think we've been to one at the same time. The poop incident day.
Yeah. We're going to have to record that one day, just so you can all hear. If you didn't see it on our Instagram, it was
poop-tastic.
It's a bad day.
A little poo-nami.
Yes.
Okay. So, what are we talking about today, Jen?
Today, we're talking about self-care.
Yeah.
And self-care. What that kind of looks like. And
how it's changed since becoming parents.
Yeah.
Things we've added, things we've gotten rid of, what you can do with and without baby. And
because let's face it, like what I would have done a year ago to like me time, and what I would do now, and what I would think is me time now, are very different things.
So different.
It's actually quite crazy, the change. And like psychologically, I don't need to do near as much to have like me time.
Oh my gosh.
Any little thing in 10 minutes, I'm like,
even a long poop is like a vacation. Without the baby. If they're there, then it's just a regular Tuesday.
Yeah.
But yeah,
for
sure.
It's changed a lot. And there's ways that you can take care of yourself with the baby. There's ways you can take care of yourself without the baby. So there's lots of stuff. We're going to kind of look at it piece by piece today. What it looked like for us, what we found helpful, what we kind of felt were the signs of, okay, I really actually need some time to myself, because you get to a breaking point, and you'll notice it, and you'll find it, and you'll find your own little signs of symptoms that start happening that you're like, okay, I need some time alone. I need to do something for myself. And it's really important to recognize that.
Before you blow up.
Yes, because your ability to be a good mom actually does correspond with the amount of effort you're actually putting into yourself and taking care of yourself.
For sure. You can't pour from an empty cup.
No, we've said this we've said it in so many episodes. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you have nothing left, like if you are just giving and giving and giving and you're not doing anything for yourself, how are you supposed to be a good mom to your baby?
Definitely. Like, and it's not fair to you to put yourself at like the bottom of the totem pole. No. It's also not fair to your family to like take it out on them, because that's what I do. That's how I know I need to do some self-care, is that like I get really snippy, I get very spicy, and that's not fair to them. And it's also like really not fair to me, because then I get guilty. It's a whole shame spiral.
Yeah.
But like, you always hear it, but you have to prioritize yourself, and you have to put your needs above others sometimes, not always. Being a mom, it's like the world's greatest sacrifice, but sometimes you have to be the priority.
And we're not saying you're going to take like weekend trips away all the time.
I mean, it'd be nice.
Some of these things might be small,
For
and
sure.
like financial constraints might come up that you just don't have the capacity to go on trips and do all these spa weekends. Like that just might not happen.
We're definitely not doing that over here.
But there's things that you can do that make a huge difference. And some of it's 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do want a few hours yourself on the weekend, or maybe you do go for a night away with friends or go visit someone. Like, that's all great, but it doesn't always have to be that way. So you can find like almost like those micro moments of like, I need these 10 minutes. I need half an hour today, or, you know, things that you can do with your baby. And yeah,
because you can take care of yourself even if they're there, because sometimes you don't get a break, and there are things you can do either while they're napping or either when they're with you. But yeah, that's that. So let's get into this.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jen, let's talk about self-care and why it's important. So what are some ways, like, why do you think it's so important?
I just think that I show up as a better mother when I have taken time for myself. And it seems so weird, because you're like, it seems selfish, or it seems like inherently like you're doing something wrong when you want to do something for yourself, because you're like, no, I'm a mom, I have to sacrifice. Like, that's said to us over and over and over again, that basically you sacrifice yourself as a mom, and that you're supposed to just put everything into your children and your family. And
what did Kelsey Jane say that was? Our friend Kelsey Jane Coaching. We've talked about her before.
Yes.
There's a name for it. Martyrdom? It's a hard word.
I think that's
martyrdom. It's like when
but I don't know if I'm going to be able to say it better. So.
Yeah, I'm going to Google the definition while you keep talking.
Okay. Well, let's get into this now for a minute. It's the same topic, but Kelsey Jane, she does these Mama's Timeouts. And it was the first time that I went to one of those events that I really noticed how important it was to put some effort and time into myself. And that it was, so Mama's Timeouts is these events that she runs, and it's where no kids are allowed. It's actually just for moms, and you're not even talking about your kids. So no kids are there, and you're not talking about your kids. You're talking about you and your, like, how you are as a mom, and mom things and work things and social things, but not actually about like your child, if that makes sense. And so after the first one was just like a social thing, get together, brunch, but it was so much fun. And I left there being like, wow, I needed that. Like 2 hours where I didn't talk about Jordan. Like, we just talked about us and how it was like to be a new mom and challenges we faced, what's been good, what's been bad, and having that kind of safe space where you could talk about that. And I left being like, wow, I need to do that. Like, that makes me feel better. And when I went home to Jordan that day, I felt like I went home as a better mom. And I felt like I was way more patient with her. I actually had a lot more time for her, like, silly antics and wanting to play and climb on me. Like, I just, I felt like I had a much more, patience, I guess. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your cup was full.
Yes.
So then you were pour a little bit for her.
Yes.
Yeah. I just looked up the martyrdom in motherhood.
Yeah.
And basically the whole concept is that, like, you're sacrificing yourself for others to, like, do things for other people at your own expense. Mm-hmm. So
yes, when you do everything for everyone else and your family and your child, and you just let yourself suffer.
Yeah. And you're doing things for them that you should be doing for yourself, but, like, at the sacrifice of, like, what society tells us to, like, be a good mother.
Yeah.
So if you're not sacrificing yourself and, like, burning your candle at both ends, and which is not true.
I definitely felt that, though, until we started going to these Mama's Timeouts. Specifically, that was when she spoke about this, and I was like, I like this. Like,
Definitely.
This makes sense. And then when you start doing it and you noticing the changes, it's easier to do it. But you really have to kind of like change your frame of mind. You really have to think about it and put effort into it, which can be hard sometimes.
For sure. And even like we went to one on mom guilt and all of us were like feeling mom guilt about going.
Yeah.
But then when we went there, we were like, what's the word when you're encouraged? Words.
I don't know.
Empowered. We were like reminded that everybody else was feeling that and it's a normal feeling, but that doesn't mean that you're being a bad person.
So Karlee, why do you think self-care is so important?
Like I mentioned before, when I kind of get to the end of the candle, what is it? You burning the candle at both ends.
Yes,
when I get to the middle, my cup is completely empty. I just become so feisty and spicy and like unnecessarily. And it's just because I need to like center myself and give myself a moment to like be me. And I find in motherhood, it's the time that I've challenged that the most. Any other time, like going through nursing school, when I went and did my first degree and like moving, anything that's been stressful, you always find a way to take time for yourself. But being a mom, it is like the hardest thing to do. Like one, because there is no time. Two, because you have this child who's needs things from you. And if you don't have like childcare available, then it's really hard to get time away. And then three, society is telling you that like you can't take time away. So like I'm sure there's a million other reasons that make it hard too, but I found since being a mom, it's been the one thing that I've like really struggled with, or at least like in the beginning was like getting, or babies wake up from naps. Just found like in motherhood, it's been the one like main challenge that I've experienced is being okay with putting myself first sometimes. And it's been challenging. And by doing that, I've been able to take better care of myself, which makes me a better mom. It makes me a better wife and a better friend. And not only that, like I just feel better. So all around, my life got infinitely better when I started to take care of myself. And
we talked about like relationships last week. Like you said, it doesn't just help you become a better mom. It actually helps in your relationships and other aspects of your life too, which I didn't talk about, but it's super important.
Definitely.
Because it's a huge shift in your life. And if you just let it all, it's so hard.
You gotta take care of yourself.
Yes.
And this kind of reminds me of something in university. So my friend, she's actually a naturopathic doctor here in the Lower Mainland, Dr. Kathleen Mahana. You can find her on Instagram. We'll link her below. But when we did our degree together, we came up with this thing called the Look Good, Feel Good philosophy or policy. And essentially on exam days, what you want to do is you want to be up all night studying, burning the candle at both ends, and you show up the next morning in your oversized sweats and not brushing your hair, not brushing your teeth. And when you look like crap, like you feel like crap. You don't think as clearly, you don't feel sharp and bright and energized. So we came up with this thing, the Look Good, Feel Good. And we would get not like dressed up. We weren't wearing like mini skirts and high heels, but we would wear like, jeans and a t-shirt, and we would shower and brush our hair and maybe put on a little bit of makeup. And it completely changed like our exam day experience. One, we felt better. Two, we probably did better as well because of it. And instead of just like walking around feeling like hot dog poop, you like look presentable, and like you don't have to like get dressed up, but just not wearing like dirty clothes covered in spit up 24/7.
Like there's a shift in your mindset.
It's a psychological thing.
It's totally
100%.
Yeah.
Completely psychological. Yeah. Like almost like a placebo. Like you're telling yourself like I'm put together, therefore you are put together. It's like the whole like dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I mean, I thought the same thing in university too, and like I'd want to wear my pajamas to go take an exam because you're so exhausted. And that's kind of exactly how motherhood is. I'm just so excited. I'm tired. I want to wear pajamas all day.
Definitely.
But then when I find I actually shower and put some makeup on and get changed, I'm like, oh, I feel a little bit better. Like it doesn't make you feel 100%,
exactly.
But there's just a small shift, and it's the start towards a better day.
It's almost like telling yourself like I am important, and I am important enough to like take those 5 minutes to put myself together. And it doesn't have to be extravagant or extreme, but like even little things like putting on clean clothes and brushing your hair. Like I would brush my hair and just like slick it back into a bun or a ponytail. Like it's not like done, but it's not disheveled and all over the place. And just doing that for yourself, like you're telling yourself like I am worth looking and feeling better.
5 or 10 minutes on my appearance as opposed to 0 and just leaving.
Exactly. And like we're not saying that like your appearance is super important, but the way you look and dress and present yourself does change the way you show up in the world, and then also the way others perceive you. I remember in nursing school, one of our instructors gave us a big talk about looking presentable at clinical. So you don't she's like, you don't have to put makeup on. She's like, we have to brush your hair. Your hair has to be in a ponytail that's neat and tidy, and like hygiene stuff. Like you need to shower and brush your teeth and all of that. And it stuck with me that you can show up to work in scrubs at 6 a.m. and look like a hot mess, or you can look like polished and presentable and put together. And people do perceive you differently. Not for what you look like, but for being a little bit together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we really want to make a big point in that being a mom is a big part of who you are, but it's not all that you are. And there's a part of you that still needs that nourishment. It still needs you to take care of it. And that's what we want to talk about today is, yes, your mom, that's a huge part of it. It's a big part of your life. Like we get that. We're not trying to take away from that, but it's not all you are. And you have to look at the rest of you too. You can't forget about that whole other part of you. And you can't let motherhood become all that you are.
Like your only identity.
Yes. Because there is other parts to you, and it's important. The party that's in a relationship with your spouse, your family, your friends, if you're working, like that's another part of you. What you like to do, like what motivates you, what are your interests, hobbies. Like there's so much more to you than just that you have kids and you take care of them. So yes, that's important. We recognize that. But what we're going to focus on is the rest of you today and how to take care of that other part of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like that. So I feel like we've covered why self-care is important and kind of like to us what it means. So Jen, why don't you tell me, how has self-care changed since you have become a mom?
Well, you just don't have the same time for self-care or financial means kind of are the big ones to me. Before, I didn't really think about anything. I'd be like, I want to do this. And I would go do it right away because I didn't have anything else. If I wasn't working, cool. I had the time. There was no time constraint whatsoever. And then money wasn't also a big worry for us. Like we were both working full time, making good money. Like we had our little budget we followed, but like really it wasn't a big concern. We could go on vacations if we wanted to. I could just go and like go to the spa and get a manicure and pedicure and not think another thought about it. So now it's really changed.
The good old days of disposable income.
And now it's really changed because you have to time block your days now. And like, when can I get childcare? Or when can my spouse watch our child so that I can go do this? Or am I going to go after she's in bed? Or, you have to really plan your days and be very efficient in what time you're going to take. Because yes, doing a self-care kind of activity is important, but also your downtime just at home is important. So I find if I like wait until the end of the day and she's in bed, and that's when if I only do my self-care then I'm taking away from that downtime that I also need. So there's just like that timing is really difficult. So that's one of the biggest things that I think it's changed.
It kind of takes away like the glamour and romance of self-care when you have to like plan every minute leading up to and before and after. Like sometimes my mom would be like, oh, like bring Henry over, I'll watch him, and you can go do something for an hour or two, and like that's great. I love that. I appreciate that she offers that. But then sometimes I'm like, well, I have to then like pack up his bag, and then I'm gonna have to pump, and then I'm gonna have to drive out there, and then when I come home I'm gonna have to unpack everything and clean the bottles and clean the pump stuff. And sometimes it's like I should prioritize it more, especially when somebody's offering to watch your child, like take them up on it. But then I think about all the reasons, like all the things I have to do to make that like hour of self-care worth it. But it is worth it.
Yeah, it is. You have to be a lot more efficient with your time and organized, I guess, with your time too. So
definitely.
Yeah. What about you? What have you found that it's changed?
Well, I definitely feel like it's more important than ever. And it's something, like I said before, that I wasn't prioritizing, but it's something that I need to prioritize and to kind of make me feel like myself again. Like there was things that I wasn't doing that I always enjoyed doing, like putting on makeup. Like I'm definitely not like wearing full glam, but a little blush and a little concealer, like I enjoy that. It makes me feel like more awake and put together. Even like getting dressed up and stuff and going out. Like I have nowhere to go these days, but like I miss that of like, just, I don't know.
No, I get it.
Yeah. And I always find that I will prioritize other things, especially around the house, because to me, I like trick myself into thinking that cleaning the house is self-care because I really enjoy having a neat and tidy house. But that's not self-care.
It's not true self-care.
It's not true self-care. It's like an activity of daily living. It's like showering.
It's false. It gives you false hope that you're giving yourself time, self-care time, but is it really? No.
It's not. It's something that does make me feel better, and it does help my day go smoother, and like I enjoy it, but it's not true self-care. It's like showering. It's not like a shower is like a basic necessity. It's not actually self-care. Well, it is sometimes, but like it's not actually true self-care. If you know what I mean? Like it's like going poop. You're not like, oh, I'm gonna let myself go poop today. Like it's it's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Or it's not. But yeah, I think it's just changed. Like my outlook on it has changed. It's so much more important. It's way harder to fit in, but you have to prioritize it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're not experts in this, as we're saying. Like we don't always make it a priority, but we've
definitely
learned.
worked on it though.
Yeah.
We've
sure.
learned, we've talked about this, we've made efforts, we've noticed the changes. You know, it's something that we've put the effort into working on, and we notice the difference. So that's why we feel so strongly like it does make you a better mom. It's almost counterintuitive that like time away from your baby will make you a better mom, but that's how it works.
For sure.
Like if you would never give yourself time away from your baby and you think you're a great mom because of it, like I'd almost bet money that you'd be a better mom if you actually gave yourself even an hour to a week away from your baby for you to do something that you enjoy. Like, and you will come back better and happier and probably want to do more adventures with your baby or like teach them new things. Like it's just
be
so
more engaged
important
when you're with them.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's just easy to kind of trick your brain into thinking you don't deserve that time. And like we talked about the martyrdom and like you need to sacrifice everything to be a good mom. That's what society tells us. And it's really easy to think you don't deserve it, but
you do.
We're here as a reminder that you are important. The whole part of you that's not a mom, that is important too. So look after that part of you.
Definitely. For sure. So like self-care is so important as a mom, and we want you to be able to find time to do self-care activities without your baby, but sometimes it's just not practical.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of our favorite self-care activities that you can actually do with a baby.
So for me, it's always been like some sort of exercise. It makes me feel so good. Like mentally, there's a lot of reasons for that, but physically moving my body, it's just something since like high school has been very important to me. So doing that with my baby, like we joined stroller fitness classes, which have been awesome. I did baby and me yoga, so it was something that we could do together. It was actually really fun, and like you did breathing exercises and like slight movements with them, and they could sit on your belly while you're doing bridges, and like you can include them in it, which was really neat. Walking outside, swimming lessons was another one. Like it's another physical thing where you can get in and move your body, and you can do it with them, and they love it. And watching them splash around is really fun. And so I just found all of those kind of like movement things I could do with her, and then that made me still feel really happy. But then I was also doing it with her. I was still fitting it in during the day when I didn't have childcare or someone else to help me. And so I found it, I just really liked that.
And you were doing it for you, for the most part. Like when you're going for a walk, when you're going for a workout, like sure, they get the fresh air, they get to be outside, they get to see other babies, but
that's not my priority.
That's not your priority, for sure. And actually something that we did in January, it's called the 100 Days to Slay.
Yes.
It's local here to the Fraser Valley, and they have one in Kelowna too, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll tag them down below. They do it virtual as well.
Yeah.
So if you're tuning in from elsewhere, definitely check it out. And essentially it's 100 days of 30 minutes of daily movement. Intentional.
Movement.
So like the whole thing is that it's intentional and you have to do it for you. So like doing chores, cleaning the yard, like that kind of stuff doesn't count. So it actually has to be something that like is for you.
Because it could be stretching, because that's still moving your body. You're trying to heal your body, stretch out your muscles, but you're intentionally doing, and it's good for you. And it's something that you're putting the effort into. And so, yeah, we loved it. It was a really, really good motivation to really force us to find a time to do it. Like I remember you saying how much Henry loved it when you do yoga.
Loved it.
You go into downward dog and he would just be loving it, like laying underneath you.
Definitely.
And it's fun for them. And I think it's important for them to see you making a priority for yourself too.
I think that's also where like our self-care shifted in postpartum, because I started it, I was 3 months postpartum, you were 4, and we were out of kind of like the fog, out of like the haze, and I think it really forced us to do something for ourselves every single day, and then we got into the habit of it and made it something that we do every day. And then you got pregnant, and
I know. It's all changed. But yeah, so physical activity. So what else? Other than the physical kind of activities, what else have you done?
I love to go outside with Henry and garden. So he doesn't actually garden with me. Maybe one day he will. But I just put him on a blanket in the yard, and most of the time he just watches me. And I get to do my gardening, and I usually have a podcast in, and sometimes I'm like telling him about what I'm doing, and I'll water the garden, and I'll do all the little things, and he just kind of sits there and hangs out with me. And it's great because it's for me. Like I love tending to my garden. I don't really have time for it as much as I wish I did, but I do make it a priority that like every afternoon or every other afternoon we go out for like half an hour and we do that, and it's fun to do together. Next summer might be even more exciting because you'll actually be able to help a little bit. But for now he kind of just sits there. He has a great time. He watches me. I enjoy it. And then sometimes even just like going for to the park and just sitting there. Yesterday we walked up to a park by our house. He went on the swings, and then we kind of just like sat there. I drank my coffee and we just kind of hung out, and it was great. And I was like, this is for me. I mean, it was good for him too, but
you got some time outside. Fresh air always makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Like those hardest days, I find if I go outside even for 10 minutes, the fresh air will make me feel better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Another one that we did together actually was going to baby time at the library. So this one is also for baby, but you don't realize how like you get all the fuzzy, like warm, good, like feel good feelings when you go and you sing songs and you're holding your baby and you're cuddling them and you're hanging out and you're with other people. So as much as it is good for baby, like it's so good for you to get out and meet other moms or parents.
And afterwards, we did a walk after every baby class that we did, and we'd go, and then those of us that wanted coffee would go get a coffee. We'd all just wear our babies and we'd go for a walk for however long we wanted, just so we could all talk. And
for sure.
Yes, we talked about baby stuff, but it was just so good for us. We also talked about life and work, and
Definitely.
you know, they were all new people, so getting to know these women that we were now meeting and spending time with, and it was just so good. You got fresh air, you got to move your body, and the babies just slept. For the most part, all of them would sleep when we're moving, and
it looked pretty cool walking around town with like 10 of us with babies and baby carriers.
Yeah, so that was a huge one. That really helped me.
Yeah, love the baby carriers. Those were very handy in the early days. I still use mine now every day, but it very handy in the early days. And something that Henry and I did early on is I would put him in the carrier for his nap, and then I would cook dinner. And if he was awake, he usually wasn't in the early days because all they do is sleep. And I would kind of like tuck him in there, and then I would get some time to like cook dinner myself, especially when you're in like the contact nap phase. When they're really little, like you can either sit on the couch and snuggle them and watch some TV, which is also fantastic. Something I loved doing early on was the trashy TV or Hallmark Christmas movies with baby. But then also you want to sometimes do things. So then putting them in the carrier, cleaning's not self-care, cooking some meals, but like for fun. So like,
because that's fun for you. It's not fun for me, but fun for her. So that's the difference.
Yeah, definitely. And it's different if I'm like meal prepping and like making things because I have to, or if I'm just like, ooh, I have these ingredients, like let's make this for fun. That's the self-care side of it. Like baking cookies and
for a lot of people, baking is very therapeutic. I mean, neither of those things are for me, but for some people it is. It might be self-care for you, and that is awesome. And that's the whole thing. You need to find what you
works
can do,
for you,
right? Especially when they can go on exercisers too, or like they can be sitting there watching.
Give them their own measuring cups.
And if you talk about what you're doing and like how you're cooking and the different things, you can get them their own little measuring cups and like utensils and spatulas and stuff for them to play with. Then as they get older, they have those learning towers so they can cook with you.
The little kitchen helpers.
And they say like if you teach them, like teaching babies or children, I guess toddlers, to do like house chores, there's a huge developmental
and it's not chores to them.
No,
like
but
an opportunity or
growth, I guess. Yeah. Like they're doing all this research now about if you actually get them to help out around the house and not just do special things with them, like
for sure,
just doing your regular things you would do in a day-to-day, but doing it with your baby is actually very beneficial to do. And like, you don't need to do special things for baby all day every day, because who has the time or capacity for that? Like
definitely. And you know what's fun for a baby or a small kid? Folding laundry. Like that's exciting to them.
They
get their own little pile.
Taking socks out of laundry baskets, like they love it.
It's like a Western culture thing that like we separate like house stuff and then family stuff, where a lot of other cultures that's all done together. So like the kids help with the cooking and the cleaning and putting the dishes away and cleaning up for dinner, where in Western culture it's like we get chore charts and everybody has their job.
And that's what the research is saying. It's better to do it together. Like it's actually better for the growth and development of your child,
instead of forcing them.
Anyways, it's very interesting. If I find the articles that I was reading, I will post them.
Definitely.
So one other thing that we did is actually like just carving out time that we would do kind of like a new adventure, something different with the whole family. And it didn't need to be anything crazy. Like for Mother's Day, my one ask was that my husband just planned something for us to do as a family, the three of us. I was like, I do not care what it is. I just want to do something out of the house that's different for us. So we just went to like a different coffee shop and walked in a trail that we don't normally go to, and it was so good. I didn't plan it, which A, made it 10 times better.
Yes.
And B, like he planned everything, and B, it was just doing something together. Like she slept most of the time, but we can actually just walk and talk, move our bodies, drink good coffee. Like it was just...
Do you have any snacks? Any good snacks?
You know, I don't think we ate. I think it was just a coffee date.
Sad. I mean, it's still good, but...
But it was just...
something you did together.
I felt so good after that. And it was a simple thing. Like, it didn't require a ton of effort. Like, I didn't ask for anything crazy for Mother's Day. That was it. And it was just, but it made me feel good. And it felt like we took time out for actually ourselves. And
Important.
Anyways, it was good.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good.
We went to buy flowers on Mother's Day. It was great.
Yes.
Little family activity to the little nursery. Bought some plants and flowers. Then I forced my husband to plant them with me. It was great.
Yeah.
He liked it. One more thing to do with baby before we forget. Something that we're big fans of in our household is a kitchen dance party. And it took me a while to realize, like, I don't need my husband to be home to do this with. Like, I can do this with my baby.
Yeah.
And he loves a good kitchen dance party. Sometimes he's sleeping, so he doesn't even know they're happening. Yeah. But
we actually have a sign in our kitchen. It says this kitchen's made for dancing.
Oh, nice.
So we're
Love
also
that.
big kitchen dancing people in our house, which is just kind of funny. But
it's the best place to dance.
yeah, why
Yes.
not?
All right.
Okay, so that's things you can do with your baby. So let's talk a little bit about what you can do self-care without your baby. When you actually have childcare or they're in bed, they're sleeping, like what can you actually do for you?
Yeah, let's do it. I think this kind of goes along with the same with baby, but we both love to work out and go to the gym. Yoga classes, gym classes, even just going to the gym by yourself. For me, it fills my cup, makes me feel like me. Where some people, it's not their jam. So it's not your jam. Don't force yourself to do it. But if it is something that makes you feel better, like I cannot wait for him to start daycare in September. And I'm going to go to the gym by myself.
It's crazy, right? When you're like,
stoked.
Just spend like an hour and work out
I know.
and not have to worry or like have no other thought about anyone else is, there's something to it.
I'm stoked. It's good.
Yeah. So working out is one thing. It does it's still self-care. It's still taking care of yourself, but we just both feel like when we're doing it alone, we get even more from it.
Definitely. Speaking of childcare, you go. I was going to say time away from your kids, like with your mom friends.
Yes.
Where you talk about mom things or just adult things. Like, talk about trashy TV. Talk about
totally relationship stuff. This is a great time to talk about relationship stuff, about how hard it is and just everything. Like we talked about like body changes, things we've noticed. We talked about sex after having a baby because so many people will shy away from talking about these things, but it's actually very important.
Definitely.
And it makes you feel a lot better when you just talk it and say the things that you're struggling with and what's going well, what's not going well. And there's just so much comfort in when you're actually getting to talk and hang out with your mom friends. And it's not all about the babies.
For sure. Yeah. Got to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to link below the Mama's Time Out events with Kelsey Jane.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If you're local, she does them like every few months. And then there's a big, I think they're calling it like a summit coming up in
summit.
November with a whole bunch of different speakers. There's like 8 different speakers.
It's a full day event. It's focusing all on motherhood and the moms. It is not about your children. No. It is about you as a mom and what that looks like. And there's a whole bunch of different topics, different speakers.
Yeah, we're going to link that for sure.
We're both going, so you should definitely go.
And there's hot brunch.
Yeah, and there's food and coffee. So like we're sold. If you tell us there's food there,
no kids,
we will be there.
Hot brunch, hot mamas.
Yeah. It's good.
What's not to love?
Yeah.
So
back to self-care.
Yeah. What are things you like to do around the house? Like when she goes to bed or if she's napping or if your partner has them. Is there anything?
No, not for me. I'm not a house person. Yeah. I mean, I cook and clean because I have to. I do not find any joy in either of it. I did not get that gene from my dad's side of the family, but because my sister does. She loves it. Like that makes her so happy. Whereas I actually got a meme the other day and it said some people are meant to cook and some people are meant to be in the kitchen talking with the cook. And I was like, that is me. My sister's the cook and I'm the person that's just meant to be in the kitchen talking to her. Like that is our dynamic. That's what works for us.
That's so funny.
Anyways, that was our side note.
That's good.
But when I find I feel better when I shower, when I actually take the time to shower, brush my hair, brush my teeth, shave my legs, like having shaved legs, I don't right now, so don't look at them. But like having shaved legs, I don't know, it makes me feel like I actually put effort into myself. And it's that look good feel like no one's seeing my legs almost every day. No one sees them, but it just makes me feel better. And
because you're doing something for yourself that makes you you like it. And there's nothing wrong if you don't shave your legs. But if you enjoy having a nice smooth leg.
So like those are the things I would do at home. It's nothing crazy for me. Just those little things like subtle self-care
Definitely.
tips.
And there's a difference between a shower when you like put your hair up, put a shower cap on and you like rinse quickly, get in and get out like in minutes, or like when you have a shower.
Hot shower and hot water and you just I do a little stretching in the shower. It's good.
A couple little essential oils, little peppermint to get it all spa-like.
Good. Yeah.
Actually, at our old house, we had this like superb spa bathroom. We had like a huge soaker tub with jets, and it was like just like a big bathroom. And I would turn all the lights off, and I had all of these little candles, well, battery candles, because I have cats, set up. And then I would play like nice spa music, and I would have like the most epic like wind down showers.
Yep.
And I usually did it like the night before my first day at work. And it was just like, I called it, it was the Zen Den. Like, it was just so chill, and like you set the vibes. And then I would usually like put a face mask on before, and then I would shave my legs, and then I would like do some skincare after. And it was like just for me, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's something I used to love before having a baby. So I really had to not convince myself, but like remind myself, like, this is something you like and something that you enjoy. So like after having a baby, I started like doing my nails more often instead of like, I mean, don't look too close, but like just doing something that makes me feel like me. I used to always have my nails done before I was a nurse, or, you know, like plucking my eyebrows. You know how good it feels to get all those stray hairs, the stray chin hairs?
Oh yeah.
You feel
a little shave.
Yeah. Oh, you feel so much better. I love to tint my eyebrows, do the little face dermaplaning. You feel like a hot damn.
Yeah, it does.
Body hair removal. Who knew it could feel so good?
It's true though.
Actually,
I think it's mostly psychological.
100%.
There's something that it does that it's so good. But I did forget something at home. I really like to watch Hallmark movies, or like anything on the W Network. And for me, it's because I can shut my mind off. Like,
for sure.
You know what's going to happen in the movie. You know there's going to be a happy ending. You know there's going to be some small rift that happens that they have to overcome, and then they'll be happily ever after, and they'll kiss at the end, all is well. And for me, I need that kind of predictability so I can fully shut my brain off. I don't have to think. I don't have to worry about anything, and I can sit there for like an hour and a half and just like actually feel like I'm relaxing. Because if I watch anything else, I can get stressed or anxious, or it's going to bring up other emotions, or I'll cry because it'll be sad, and a child will come up, and then it'll be terrible. So I have to watch like kind of those predictable things.
Definitely.
That's I found it's certain shows I can watch that'll actually make me relax.
And that's why people rewatch old episodes too. Yes, like I used to rewatch Friends over and over and over and over again. Even though I knew what was going to happen, but it was like relaxing to me because I knew what was going to happen. I knew I would laugh, and it was just...
Because you have to find something you enjoy that's not going to elicit like strong emotions anyway, because then you're not actually taking care of yourself. Like then it's actually detrimental to your mental health. And then like me, you'll end up ugly crying, and your husband comes out and he's like, what is wrong? I was like, something happened on a show, and it's not good.
May I recommend Bravo and all of the trashy television
that's your thing. Mine's Hallmark.
I do love a good Hallmark movie. I've hit quite a few, but I just got into reality TV like maybe like a year and a half ago, and now I am hooked because I don't like action shows. Like I don't like, you know, I like them in a certain scenario.
Yes.
But yeah.
And I love action shows, but I have PTSD, and it's not good for my PTSD, so I can only watch them in like specific times and moods and how I'm feeling. Definitely. And I have to be very careful, and it's not self-care. Like it's not actually good for me. So Hallmark it is.
Hallmark is great. They actually film a Hallmark movie, like the neighbor that lives right over there. They always have big trucks outside. And then I
screenshot when I see the house and send it to her. And I'm like, I saw your neighborhood.
Yeah. So pretty much that means I'm famous. I should just be in the background, like boobies out, like just breastfeeding or pumping in the background in the window.
That is your MO, boobs out. And
definitely.
Just like,
what else we got here?
I know, I'm just looking.
I love listening to a good podcast too. So watching trashy TV if I don't have the kid with me, or sometimes even just like having an earbud. What is it? An earbud? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, AirPod. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, but earbud is...
Yeah. The generic version of an AirPod.
Yep.
Having one in and just like going about my day, cleaning the kitchen, and just like, you know, having something on in the background. It's nice.
I found too, like playing sports. We used to play in like a church league volleyball team and slow pitch. But you forget how fun it is when you haven't done it in a while. And like for me, I'm at this age, I want to have fun. I don't want to be competitive. And my husband just recently was playing on a volleyball team, and he's like, man, I forgot like how fun it is. And he actually went away. That's why I was solo parenting, as you might have seen on Instagram. And he went away for 4 days and like played in a competition. And he's like, it was actually a lot of fun. Like I bonded with the other guys. We went out, we had good food. We all talked, we laughed. Like, he's like, it was great sleeping in and not having to like be stressed about the monitor. Like he's like, it was just, he felt so good afterwards, and he just forgot that he loved that so much when he was younger. So kind of like reigniting some of those old sparks that used to bring you joy, kind of looking in and seeing. It might not. You might try it and be like, I've outgrown this. different stage in my life. But for him and for me, when we were playing volleyball in slow pitch, so we're like, oh, this is actually really fun. Like, and a lot of times it's in the evenings later in night. So like if one of you can go, or you could take turns just to get out of the house and like meet different people and play and move your body and do sports. I don't know. It's fun for us. And we found we liked it.
Doing something that you used to do before kid.
So what are a few self-care activities that we've kind of had to change or add because we've become a mom? Is there anything you can think of?
Well, a big one for me postpartum was actually buying clothes that fit.
Yes.
So I think it was probably around like 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, hey, I can't just live in leggings and pajamas. Like, I'm feeling like I want to start getting out of the house. And I was like, I need clothes. I didn't really, like, if you listen to our postpartum episode, I got clothes that I could wear like immediately postpartum. I got like a bunch of like big shirts from my dad, and I had a bunch of leggings that I knew would fit, and like comfy sweatpants. But once you're kind of out of like the pajama legging phase, I was like, I need some clothes. So I went online and I ordered like multiple pairs of jeans in different sizes, because I was like, I don't know what size I am. And that was life changing, being able to put on like even just a t-shirt and jeans, like nothing fancy, but
No, because
it's a good change from sweatpants.
and it, again, you put yourself the lowest on the totem pole. You buy all these clothes for your child, your baby.
So
How
much
crazy
clothes.
did everyone go buying like all these bamboo sleepers, this and that? You want to buy all these different outfits, and then you don't buy anything for yourself. And I found like I actually was not leaving my house because I was like, I just don't have anything to wear. I put things on. I'd be like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm just not going to go out. And I would purposely stay home. Well, that was so bad for my mental health. And so once I actually bought clothes, I ordered some that fit. I was like, I immediately feel 10 times better now, and I can actually leave the house, and I'm excited to leave the house, and it made just our activities better, and it made me happier. And I was like, wow, I need to actually, this needs to be a thing. Like, you don't need to go spend thousands of dollars, but buy at least a few staple items that actually fit you, and you're going to notice a big change.
Even like a few t-shirts and a pair of jeans and like maybe a sweater, depending on the season, or like a sundress, like a handful of things. And like nobody cares what you wear when you go out. So if you wear jeans and like the same t-shirt every time you go out, like, who cares?
And like, I shopped at Old Navy and H&M.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere crazy. I waited for there to be sales, used, Old Navy dollars. Like, I didn't spend a ton
Super
of money.
cash.
Thank you. But it made a difference.
For sure. And you can go to thrift stores, you can go to Marketplace. You can even ask, like, one of my friends that lives nearby, she had a baby, and after her baby, her clothes didn't fit. And she was, I don't know if she was asking me if I had anything, or because I was pregnant at the time. She's like, do you have anything that like might fit me? Either I offered or she asked. And I had a whole bunch of clothes from before I had baby that ended up being like the perfect size for her, and she didn't have anything that fit. So I gave her like this giant bag of clothes, being like, this, if it will ever fit me again, it's not going to be for a very long time. Yes. And it was great.
Yeah.
So you don't got to spend money, but you can.
I think that's the biggest thing. And then taking the time to actually just like shower and take care of you.
Yeah.
That when you become a mom, it becomes like just more important, and you're more aware of how important it is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the things that are like so easy to just like get forgotten and kind of pushed to the side.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit. How are some ways, Jen, that when it's time that you need to prioritize self-care?
For me, I get just like so overstimulated, and I just find I just am very reactive to things that Jordan does, like my child does. And that's where I'm like, holy crap, like I actually need to take a step back and do something. Like, this isn't okay. Like, she's a baby. Like, she wants to play with me, and I would find like almost shaking on the ground. And I'm like, do not touch me. Do not touch me. Like, she doesn't understand. She's a baby. She's going to crawl all over me, and I can't yell at her and tell her to stop. Like, she doesn't understand that. And when I started, like, I would actually physically shake, and I'd be like, this is not okay. Like, I need to do something. Like, I physically saw reactions in myself, and I was like, wow, I've way past the point of like, I needed to notice it sooner, and I clearly didn't. And I let it go way too long, and I was having those like huge reactions. And yeah, I found myself one night, I was actually yelled out loud at Jordan to stop. And then I was just cried afterwards, because I'm like, I can't yell at her. She doesn't even understand. Like she doesn't understand what I'm saying. She doesn't understand boundaries and what's happening. Like, she has no idea. Like, me yelling stop is so unfair. And I don't blame I'm not mad at myself for it. Whatever, it happened. It's over. Everyone has their moments. It wasn't my prettiest motherhood moment, but it happened. And it was just that like, okay, yeah, that's not okay. Like, clearly I need to do something for myself, and I need to take a break. And I literally have handed her to Nat and be like, I need 10 minutes. Like, I'm not okay. I just yelled. I need a break. And he's really good about taking her. But I've hit that brink multiple times
Definitely.
that I've really recognized it. So what about you?
For sure. Same thing, like just getting overstimulated, being very, like getting very triggered by things that like, I don't want to say should not be triggering, but things that normally would not bother me. And I get very like snappy and feisty, and I'll start snapping at my partner for like literally no reason, sometimes small reasons. And then a big thing for me, I find like I know I need to take some time for myself when I'm not able to be productive or like kind of get through my daily tasks and get through my to-do list. If I find myself like constantly like just going and like scrolling social media or like getting really distracted, sometimes I'm like trying to find like little dopamine hits, like things to make me feel better that I don't even really have time for, or like I'm not like actually like committing to it. I'm like kind of like half-assing doing these things, and it doesn't actually bring you that like self-care like zen feeling. And that's when I'm like, okay, like I've been very distracted today. I've kind of been all over the place. Like I need to take half an hour tonight to like, I don't know, paint my nails or you know, have a nice shower or bath or yeah,
for sure. And the last one that I was going to say is that I find too, like I get easily annoyed by other people. And like, so when I see messages on my phone and I'm getting annoyed that I'm getting messages, I was like, oh yeah, this isn't good. Like I need to take a break, because normally I enjoy talking to other people and I enjoy like messages and checking in with friends. And so when I see like, or even my family will message me and I get so overwhelmed. And I'm like, I just can't even read my messages. And we talk all day, every day. Like this is very normal. So on the days that I'm seeing messages and I'm like, okay, like clearly there's something up. I need to take a step back, do something for me, have some time. And then I can go back and read my messages, respond, all is well. And that's just kind of like a little thing that I've noticed for me. Like, okay, nope. When I'm getting upset about my phone going off, like that's not okay.
And it's almost like you're looking at these like nice messages and you're like annoyed and mad. Like, how dare they bother me?
Yes.
Like, they're not bothering you. Like, they're actually nice messages.
And I flirt not to reply, because sometimes I'm like, oh, if I look back, I'm like, maybe I wasn't feeling my best when I actually responded to that message. So you live and you learn. I've learned that when I have those feelings, I need to just put my phone away and do something else.
For sure.
So.
One more thing, actually, not sleeping well. I find if I'm not taking time for myself, I either like delay going to bed because I'm trying to like fill my cup late at night. You know, that like there's like some word for it where you're like trying to like do something for yourself. So instead of just going to bed, you spend like hours scrolling social media or like watching Netflix because you're like trying to do something for yourself before going to bed, or you just can't fall asleep, or you wake up often, or but that's that was a long episode on self-care. Hopefully you got some tips,
and the whole conclusion is just you need to take care of yourself. Like you are more than just a mom. Yes, that can be a huge part of you, and that's totally okay, but there's more to you, and that part deserves some nurturing, some love, some care, and it's good. It's good for you to actually
have to make yourself a priority.
You're going to be a much better mother, and you're going to find, I just feel better when I'm with Jordan. I find so much joy out of spending time with her when I've had time to myself. And once you see that change, there's no, like, then you just want to keep doing it because you're like, wow, I enjoy this so much more when I've had time to myself. And
being a mom is so much more fun when you're not like just
constantly burnt out.
Yeah, and mad about everything. Like we need hats that say "Make motherhood fun again."
Yes,
because actually
you love that saying.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So
all right,
Mom Day mantra. Oh, me today. Okay.
Yeah.
Care for yourself with the same love and compassion that you care for your baby. Seems easy. In theory, but it is not.
No. And like we love our little buggers so much. If we even do like a quarter for ourselves as to like what we do for them, like,
but you just have to love yourself and like speak to yourself kindly. Like we do all of these things for our babies, our spouse, but we need to do them for us too.
Definitely.
So
make yourself a priority.
Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for listening. Leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you thought of this episode and just talk to you.
Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, tell us your favorite self-care things to do.
Yeah, what have you done?
What's your jam?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Happy Mom Day. Bye.